I swore I would never homeschool my kids. If you are with me on this, please hit the like button below to let me know. Oh, I think I have a tick on me. Oh. Nope. Lint. Oh. If you have homeschooled your kids before, the rest of us would really like it if you'd leave some of your biggest tips in the comments below, because we are struggling. Hi mamas, coming to you today from the woodshed because I am still in search of a quiet place to film. Quiet, as you may have found, is a rare and beautiful thing these days. So welcome back to Simple and Healthy Mama. I'm Kate. My husband Marcus and I are raising two wonderful children, ages 7 and 4. There's a reason we send our kids to school to learn. Many reasons, actually. One of which is that kids often learn better from a teacher than they would from their parents. Our daughter, when she started preschool, knew the first letter of her first name and the letters F-R-O-Z-E-N, because that's what was important to her. And I just left it at that and figured she would learn it at school, which she did. She was totally resistant to learning anything from me. Okay, new location because the neighbor's dog won't stop barking. So obviously it is impossible to summarize teaching technique all into one little YouTube video. So I have pulled out some of my biggest tips that I hope will give you the most benefit as you're trying to work with your kids at home. Also check out the description box below. I've linked some resources down there. First of all, let's talk about schedule. I would recommend trying to break up the academic work into chunks that you can do at a couple different times of the day. Have your kids move their bodies before you expect them to sit down and hold even remotely still and learn. It can really help them get their brains wide awake and calm their bodies down so that they can learn better. Try to remember that you're not homeschooling. You are facilitating learning during a pandemic. It's quite different. You have extra challenges like not being able to go anywhere. Hopefully, though, you have some advantages like the teachers communicating with you and sending home lesson plans. I think you also will need to use consequences. Consequences can mean rewards, positive consequences, and also consequences as in you don't get to watch TV until your work is done. We have a schedule on our fridge of what our days are generally going to look like. We're flexible with it if we need to be, and I don't have times on it except for things like meals and bedtime, which do need to stay pretty much the same, but otherwise I just have an order that we're going to complete things in, and when our kids get through chunks of the day, they earn a sticker for their sticker chart, and then when they have 15 stickers, they can choose a reward. I have been letting them choose their own rewards, which has been highly entertaining and really meaningful to them. Within reason, I let them have what they're asking for, and they often ask for less than I thought they would. So I think the first time they chose 1 marshmallow, and the second time they got a little wiser, they asked for 1 TV show. It only backfired on me once because before spring break, our teachers hadn't sent any work home. They said, just do what you can. And so I was just doing a little academic work each day with our daughter, and she was really resisting. This is when everyone's stress level was sky high. And so I let her earn a coupon for 1 day off of schoolwork, thinking she'd use it right away, and she saved it until the distance learning actually started, and 15 minutes into the first day of official distance learning, she used her coupon. So you have to laugh. I was getting a lot of attitude about homeschool at first, and so I tried to turn it around and make it about the teacher and the teacher's requests, because it isn't me telling my kid to do these things, it's the teacher asking her to do this work at home. That way you aren't their homeschool teacher, you are their distance learning facilitator. Hopefully your school sent home enough content that this can be true for you as well. One important thing that parents need to know is that it is not your job to entertain your children. Really, you want to foster the skill of independent play in your kids so that they learn to self-entertain and they're not dependent upon you to do it for them. My kids can go off literally for hours uninterrupted. And I know that isn't all on me. It's not that I'm the best parent in the entire world. It's a nature versus nurture debate for sure, but I do let them play independently and I don't interrupt unless I have to. I think our generation tends to overschedule our kids and over-instruct them. It's the helicopter parenting thing, right? So take a step back from that and let them have some free play. It also helps develop their creativity and their problem-solving skills. And if you're always jumping in and telling them what to do and solving problems for them, then they aren't learning anything from that. And by play, I mean free time, where they can do whatever they want, they can imagine, they can create, and it's totally self-guided. Older children should be able to do a lot of their schoolwork independently. I would just be nearby in case they need help with something, but really leave it up to them. This is where rewards and consequences could be really helpful so that you don't have to nag them. They get their work done, they get their reward. They don't get their work done, there's a consequence. If it were me, the consequence would be you don't get anything good until the work is done. I want you to keep in mind something called the zone of proximal development, the ZPD. You don't have to remember all of that, but what it means is that kids have a zone in which they're going to learn the most, and that is when the content is not too hard and not too easy. Obviously, if something is too easy for a kid, it's going to be boring for them and they won't learn anything from it. But if it's too hard, that's just as bad because they'll just get frustrated and they won't be able to master the learning objectives. If it's in their ZPD, their zone of proximal development, then they're going to learn the most, where they're struggling a little, but they can do it with little or no support. Think about Goldilocks and the Three Bears. She would try different things that were too much this, too much that, and then find something that was just right. Primary teachers often talk about this with kids who are just learning to read when they need to find a book to practice reading. They say, find your just right book. Your just right book is not too easy so that it's boring or not challenging you at all, but it's also not so hard that you're getting stuck and frustrated. It's just right. When you're trying to help your kids learn something, try and offer them the amount of support they need to get them into that ZPD. If I am reading with a child and they can read CVC words, consonant, vowel, consonant words, like bad, hat, pan, when they get to one of those words, if they pause, I encourage them to decode it, to sound it out on their own. But if they get to a word that is using phonics rules that they haven't learned yet, I give them that word so that they can continue to read and get through with success. This carries across all subjects, so if they're doing math, for example, you can adjust the numbers that they're using in the equations so that it fits their level better. Do you remember that our parents' generation took home ec? Everybody took home ec, and now I don't hear about it that much anymore, and I certainly didn't take it. I don't think it was even around when I was in school. But these are still skills that kids need. And so besides the hardcore academics, there are lots of things you can be teaching them at home. Teach them about something you are interested in, you are good at, or learn something together as a family. There are so many resources online. You can just look stuff up and learn how to do it. But I would definitely teach your kids to cook, to clean. Our kids now have daily chores, and if you know how to do things like sew or repair things, this is a great time to teach them some of those trades. We have been really focused on our well-being, prioritizing our health over academics. I talked about that in my last video, which I will link right here. One last thing before you go. If this is not working for you, change something about how you're doing things. If you just keep doing the same thing, it's not going to get better. So change course when you need to. Know when you need to give up on trying doing it one way so that you can try a different way. And take it easy on yourself, take it easy on your kids. This is hard. You've got this, mamas.